All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers in tonight's video. The con artist is back. We're doing a freaking rocket stream right now. Are you kidding me? I'm fucking retarded. Should we just roll with it? I was literally prepping a Steelers video and we got our rocket stream on. All right. Fuck it. Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk Rockets, episode 82. There's a little in-depth look at the intro to my YouTube videos on the main channel. Let me pull up Rocket stuff because that was not what I had in store for this. Let me make sure the title is right. Hope you guys are doing good. Wednesday, November 6th here. We got Let's Talk Rockets episode number 82. Looks like we're all good. We're all square. We got another matchup against San Antonio Spurs tonight. I apologize yesterday, man. I was supposed to go live and talk about this New York Knicks tape game. But I don't know, dude. The trade deadline just really throws me off. We're trying to get this stream going again. Our last one had like 100 total views. So if you guys hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. But as always, this is available on streaming sites, Spotify and Apple. If you guys could leave us a 5-star rating if you're so inclined, that would mean the absolute world to me. It links right down below, or you can type in Let's Talk Rockets. We have 12 5-star reviews now, so I'm very pleased with that. You know, off the dome here, let's pull up a tweet that I tweeted today. You guys should mainly check out the Let's Talk Rockets Twitter account. Let's Talk Rockets. But that was a really good win over the New York Knicks, man. Jalen Green really stepped up big time in that fourth quarter, making a couple of big-time threes. We'll put up my tweet here. I appreciate all of you guys. Our Rockets Twitter only has like 50 followers or something like that, but I appreciate all of you guys who listen to the show or watch the show live, and then I check back on Twitter and we got new follows, so I appreciate that so much. All right, 109 to 97. I got here on the screen for our audio listeners. Let's put something cool up on here. Let's put Raphael Stone in the top right. Let's go should go Jabari. Yeah, let's go Jabari. Why not? All right. I tweeted this before the gym. For some reason, I was feeling it. Being concerned the Rockets don't fit the blueprint to win a ring seems so dumb. Never really thought. Now, by the way, I've tried to tweet a lot more because we need more. There have to be more people involved. I'll send out a tweet. I'll get 30 freaking 30 views, no likes. I need to start building an audience a little bit better, like in the old days, which is why we do this. Anyways, being concerned the Rockets don't fit the blueprint to win a ring seems so dumb. Never really thought the Nuggets would contend in the playoffs. They always choked. Seems stupid now. Same thing with the Celtics, but in hindsight, I guess I fucking misspelled. That probably plays a role. But in hindsight, it's clear as day Rockets should set the tone and not react. Basically, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks are off to like a 1-6 start, and they just traded for Damian Lillard. They had the whole coaching. What's a kinder way to put it? I don't know what they were doing, firing Coach Bud, but they did. And they trade for Damian Lillard, and they get rid of one of the best defensive guards in the entire NBA, Drew Holiday. And that's actually even a good point in general, is just, a lot of people want to trade. A lot of Rockets fans maybe are so inclined to trade for a Devin Booker or a Giannis Antetokounmpo or a Jimmy Butler. But look at the Bucks, who just traded for Damian so they could get over the hump and get back into the NBA Finals and make some noise in the playoffs. And, now they're off to a 1-6 start. But the whole point was Giannis Antetokounmpo probably is not going to be a Milwaukee Buck for very long. So a lot of Rocket fans, because we have this core 7 group, and we're trying to first off make the play-in. We're trying to make the playoffs, but we're off to a 4-3 start, and we all have eyes. And you watch the Houston Rockets play basketball, and you're thinking, all right, this team has unbelievable potential. They also have a lot of talent. We just need to see it come together more consistently last year, where we won 41 games. And so this season, we're off to a 4-3 start. And this is where we want to take that jump and we want to make the playoffs, or at the absolute bare minimum, because the West is the West. We want to make at least the play-in and, ideally get out of the play-in. So people are, packaging before Şengün signed the extension and before Jalen Green signed the extension. We're looking at, Tari Eason and Jock Landale and Jalen Green and, 2026 first round pick from Brooklyn for, Devin Booker or Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I'm thinking to myself, at first, when I saw that, I don't think Giannis and Şengün fit at all. But then the other side of my shoulder is telling me, well, hold on a second. Amen Thompson and Alperen Şengün, like statistically, because neither can really shoot the three ball, that lineup doesn't make that much sense on paper. And then you watch it with your eyes, or you watch it, that Knicks game. I don't have the graphic. I wish I had that graphic. You watch the Knicks game, and Amen Thompson and Alperen Şengün, and I think, I forget who the other cats were else in that lineup, but it was like, their net rating was, something crazy. Got a low flying plane? My God, I've never heard of a plane like that over here. Anyways, I just kind of thought Giannis and Şengün wouldn't make sense. And then the more I think about it, just to get a guy like Giannis, I would do it. But at the same time, we're so ahead of schedule, man. People get so antsy. Dylan has a bad game, myself included, and I'm thinking, all right, Dylan's in the trade. Fred has a couple of bad games, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, Fred's in the trade. We got to figure out a Dylan replacement. Is it Tari? We got to figure out a Fred replacement. Is it Amen? And in reality, we're 7 games into this basketball season. It's a really long year, and we have a really good bench. And the Rockets haven't had a good bench like this in so long. And so it's easy to kind of forget how important a good bench is in general in the regular season, so you can end up making the playoffs. And then obviously once you get to the playoffs, it gets a little bit tighter. All right, let's show on the screen here. Let's do quick final thoughts based on that next game. It feels counterproductive because they play in like 3 hours. Jabari's been more aggressive, but we haven't really seen Jabari take that scoring leap that we're looking for. He's averaging, pretty much on par with his career, 12.6 points per game, 8 rebounds. He's had some really nice stretches. Freddie got it going. I think he had like 12 points in the first quarter the other night against the Knicks. Pretty quiet after that, only scored like 7-ish points. But Fred was huge to set the tone. And I've seen a lot of Freddie double V. I try and stay off of NBA Twitter because it's really annoying. A lot of people are really annoying. Fred got ragged on in our first, I would say, 6 basketball games because he was really bad. I can pull up the game log here. First game against Charlotte, the second game against Spurs, it was there. But third game, second game against Spurs, Freddie was horrible, 11 points. I don't have the splits here. Dallas was like one of the worst games you've ever seen from Fred, 4 total points. And then Golden State, he only had 11. A lot of those were free throws. He couldn't, throw a grape in the ocean. And I was seeing a lot of Fred negative discourse on Twitter saying, this guy's he's undersized. He can't really do anything. The only role he's serving us is the pick and roll with Alperen Şengün. And I really like Fred. I remember watching him in his entire Toronto Raptor career, and they won a championship. He's a championship point guard, and I think people, because of guys like Luka, John Morant, Shea, who's the other one on my list? Did I say Ja, LaMelo, players like that, point guards like that? People want your point guard to be able to put up like 30 on any given night, 30-point triple-double on any given night. And in reality, what I'm looking for with my point guard is I want this guy to set the tone right out of the gate. I kind of want him to be the conductor of my offense and make sure everything's in rhythm, make sure everything's in flow. And, we've had some really bad stretches with Freddie in the first couple of weeks, but Fred's a scorer. Fred can score. Fred can pass. Even though he's small, he can still defend. He's still a solid defense guard. And I just kind of thought the Fred discourse was very negative, when in reality, in Fred DWV's entire NBA career, no one's ever really had issues with him. No one's ever saying, he's too small. And that championship win, I know that was a long time ago now, but Fred to me is here to stay for at least the rest of the season. I really like Amin Thompson. He had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 8 from the field. He played 33 minutes. He had a steal. He was plus 11. He's a high energy, high impact player that you don't really experience unless you're watching him play basketball. He's always in the right place at the right time, typically. But then there are also times, where maybe it's the fourth quarter and, the Rockets need a couple of points or they could use a couple of points. And Amin Thompson gets the ball and he's wide open anywhere behind the 3-point line. And, he'll take 1 or 2 a game, but it's not the shot either we're looking for, or he just, passes immediately. So I think it's still a little bit too early to just kind of crown Amin Thompson as the Rockets franchise point guard as opposed to Freddie V. I don't even really view Amin anymore as, pure point guard, which is why I really value Fred, man. I think assists are huge. I think point guards like Chris Paul are, maybe that's old school, maybe it's unk of me, but, I really like it. Steven Adams has had a really difficult offensive stretch here. One thing I noticed watching that game, and he didn't play much because he's working himself back from injuries, also the backup center. He only played 13 minutes. He's a -6. I think that's probably the lowest on the entire team from that Knicks game. Yeah. 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Obviously, he's super freaking big, and he sets phenomenal screens, and that's his bread and butter. And getting rebounds, offensive rebounds, that's his bread and butter. Steven Adams is very underrated passer of the basketball, and I think just having a backup center who in, what I say, 13 minutes can give you 3 assists. Like, you watch it and you're, it's going to take a little bit of time to get his chemistry, and just, I was going to say flow and rhythm, but, flow, rhythm, chemistry, all kind of the same thing. It's going to take him a little bit of time with this new young team, for both players, the whole team, to just kind of learn what it's like to play with Steven Adams. So, but I was really impressed by his 3 assists the other night. And Tari Eason, workhorse as always. Jalen had a poor game, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 16 from the field, 2 of 8 from downtown. But 2 of those threes were in the last, I believe, 3 to 5 minutes of that basketball game. And it's a huge reason that they were able to win that Knicks game. They only had 19 points, they only had 20 points in the third quarter. I'm not great at math here, so give me a second. It was 61-56 at halftime, and the Rockets offense, 31 in the first, 30 in the second, started to see it stall out a little bit in that third quarter. They made it, and even into the fourth, but they make up for it with such great defense. This defense they're such a good defensive team, and even, people you could be concerned about defensively could be. What's up, HB? Appreciate you pulling in. Hope you're doing good, man. Sorry. HB's a legend, absolute legend. I'm always looking for you guys when I'm watching these games, man. I'm always looking for you guys. It's hard to freaking see it. Anyways, god damn it. I forget. All right. We're towards the end of here. HB, any thoughts on Alperen Sengun? Anything? I mean, we haven't talked in a while. I barely did this last year. That's on me. You got any thoughts on this current Houston Rockets? Drop a comment for our live or non-live viewers or audio viewers. Core 7 forever. Any thoughts on the current Rockets team? Alperen Sengun this season. I've been tweeting a lot about him. 16.4 points per game, 12.3 rebounds, 6th in the NBA, about 4 assists, a little over a steal and a block per game. It's only averaging 29 minutes a night. Ime's, and that is an important thing to know, and it's pissed me off a lot, Alperen Sengun being out of the lineup in the final 5, 12, 5, 12, 18 minutes of a basketball game. And then the next night, Jalen Green maybe gets benched towards the end of it. They needed some scoring in that Knicks game, so Jalen comes in and, really steps up. But one thing to just keep in mind, as always, because I know, Reed, people are, really upset about Reed Shepherd's minutes. He 14 minutes the other night. I wish I had ESPN pulled up, but I think he's averaging 7 or 8 minutes a game. We're 7 games into the NBA season, and you see it with all these teams. Coaches are they're trying to lock in this roster. You're trying to see strengths, you're trying to see weaknesses, who plays the best with who maybe vice versa. On the contrary, you're just trying to figure it all out. So, maybe I overreacted with Alperen Şengün not closing out some of these games. He really stepped up in that Knicks game, and I look forward to watching him tonight against Victor Wembanyama because this is a brand new rivalry that spawned out, and Sohan's annoying, and Victor Wembanyama is super annoying whenever he plays the Rockets. Usually, I don't care. HB says Şengün is the white Hakeem. I love it. You want to trade? Are we doing any trades this year? Too early to decide that. Something like keep in mind, like obviously, Paul George is a Sixer now. Cat's a Nick. Giannis is on the block, it appears, or he's at least about to be on the block here. Important to just remember, Jimmy Butler questions about his future in Miami. Important to just keep in mind every year, there's usually a couple of players. There's usually a couple of stars who are either disgruntled or look like they're about to be disgruntled. And then obviously you have, the Timberwolves not doing anything crazy in the playoffs, and they decide to take a little bit of a different route. So even if none of these superstars, Devin Booker is a good example of a guy who could become available soon. But then you watch the Suns this year and you're thinking, probably not. And then you also watch Devin Booker. You just think about Devin Booker, and like a lot of people, that's like a lot of Rocket fans' dream destination is Devin Booker to Houston. And it makes a ton of sense on paper. But if I told you Devin Booker, like let's say I could see the future, I could read the future. What if I told you Devin Booker retires as a Phoenix Sun? That would be not out of the ordinary, or that would not be out of the ordinary by any means. Played scared against Wemby last time. Yeah, I think one thing I often kind of forgot about, I think in the first couple of games of the Rockets season is Alperen Şengün got injured last season. So the dude hasn't played, I know summer basketball, whatever, but he hasn't played in the NBA regular season minutes in quite some time here. Giannis injury prone, definitely something to keep in mind there. 100% that I have not thought about, so I like that. Would you trade Freddie Double V and Reed Shepherd for Steph Curry? I would do that in a second. I would do that probably right now, to be honest with you. And I love Freddie Double V. Spent a lot on this show talking about him, and I love Reed Shepherd. I think Reed Shepherd's got a very bright future in the NBA as well. But we got so many young kids playing, but maybe if Steph's going to retire as a Warrior, in my opinion, but and the Warriors are also going to have a really good season, in my opinion, even though my Rocket fans and 2-1s. Yeah. I think when you have your picks, I don't really value draft picks as much as maybe some other or just a GM in the NBA would, because I'm a 2K GM, but I think when you have your guy, I'm a little against using that to trade for the guy. Let's say Şengün wasn't on this team and Jalen Green wasn't on this team, or they weren't on the same level as they are because they've both been in the league for several seasons now. I'm a little against like trading for the franchise guy, but I do think if you have a team around you, kind of like Toronto with Kawhi, I think it makes sense. But obviously Kawhi, really fucked the Raptors organization. But at the same time, I mean, you won a championship, but how often do you trade for a dude, and the year you trade for a dude in the summer, you end up winning the NBA Finals? I feel like that just doesn't happen like it would in 2K or Madden. Curry at the point guard would be epic. I don't see him leaving Golden State, and I definitely don't see him leaving Golden State to come over to Houston, unfortunately. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you listened to the beginning of this was supposed to be a Steelers video that I did not realize I clicked the stream version of. Thank you guys for watching or listening. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Once again, these are available on streaming sites. The link is down below, or type in Let's Talk Rockets with Jackson Elstro. And I appreciate it, man. I think I got to start making some videos because we keep getting 1 or 2 people in here. I appreciate the 1 or 2 people, but we got to step this up a little bit more. Follow the Let's Talk Rockets Twitter. That's it for me. We'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Game recap Peace.